to talk about IPDN and why it rose on December 30th at 8:20 a.m. They released a press release and basically they announced a partnership with this company called Fala Network. Professional Diversity Network, they're like a networking company. Fala Network is kind of a privacy blockchain company. And blockchain has been really hot. So the key word here is blockchain. That would have been a really good sign to buy if you're watching the news. And yeah, so I feel like the first buys were all computer trading, because literally on 8:20 there's like massive amount of volume that comes in, and it rose, I don't know, what was the rise percent? Rose 72%, roughly 72% on the first wave up. So there's the first wave up right here, I think, right? No, right over here. That's the first wave up. I'm talking about like major wave. And before I go any further, let's look at the float. I think the float is kind of important. Float was 5.74 million, so it was pretty low. So it could definitely move. That's important. If the flow was really high, I would have thought that, okay, it's really hard for this stock to move, and it may have not moved in such a parabolic way either. Okay, so what else do I want to talk about? So I've already highlighted the best buys and sells in hindsight, but now I'm going to show you which indicators you could have relied on. And I think one of the best indicators would have been band and hit count. And also, let's rewind so I can show you that in real time, and it'll look reasonable. Okay, so here's the theory I have, and it does work on a lot of stocks. I'm not saying it works on every stock, but band and hit count will generally show me a stock. What it shows me is it shows how many hits there are on the upper bands or lower bands. And you can see here it says, I have linear regression up here too, because that's really good. I want to see the buys. Okay, they're there. Okay, so it says to buy here, and then it says to hold on, and then it says to sell over here, and then it says to buy over here, and then it hits the upper bands 8 times, 9 times, 10 times, 11 times. Now, anywhere between 1 and 15 is generally a good buy. Like, let's say a stock rises and it rises and it hangs on the upper bands like 10 times, then it falls. You actually may want to get in. Like 10 times is not too much. There could be room for more uptrend. But in this case, not in this case, but in general, like stocks tend to fall like anywhere around from like 15 to 20 hits on the upper bands. And this is just something I've noticed. In this case, it falls on the 16th hit on the upper band. Because like stocks like to gravitate when they're in an uptrend or downtrend towards the band that they're near. So in this case, uptrend, so it's hanging on the upper bands, and then it goes to 13, and it actually went down, and then 16, and that was it. And you're actually getting some level of RSI price divergence. So price is increasing, RSI is decreasing. Notice how like high RSI was over here, and then notice how high RSI is over here. Notice how high RSI is over here. So you should be like looking to see if there's any divergence over here, and also with volume. You can see volume also dropping a bit. Like volume over here when the price is at its highest is less than the other prices when they're at their volumes. So their volumes are much higher, but the prices are lower. So you should be able to take the sells more seriously around this area. Oh yeah, another thing is like I'm starting to think that I should rely on more on the algorithm, because it's quite good. And the reason for that is like sometimes I lose my cool and I'll sell really early. I'm not saying like that happens. It happens like often. I really enjoy taking profit. Well, like it's not a bad thing, but I mean, the algorithm really works well, so I should be using it. I shouldn't just be like ignoring it, right? So yeah. So now, so you have an uptrend, and now you have a downtrend. And why do you have an uptrend and why do you have a downtrend? This is important to note. So in an uptrend, stock will go to the upper bands, and then will fall to the lower bands or EMA 5. And then it will bounce back up like it did over here. And then, so you can see here, falls. It falls under EMA 10, goes up towards EMA 5 and barely passes it. And you can see here in the bands, it's in the middle, but it's underneath the middle. There you have a linear regression channel over here. I could get rid of that if you guys want. Let's see. Although I like it. Let me tell you why. So I like it because you shouldn't take the buys seriously if linear regression has a negative slope. And when I say linear regression, I mean you could. I like to set it to 20 to 50. I feel like it's prioritizing the last 20 and 50 bars, so it's pretty relevant to where if you're day trading. So yeah, so I wouldn't take this buy seriously. And then you have a sell, okay? I could have taken the buy seriously, no problem, but at the same time, like, let's stick with the theory for now. So now it falls below the linear regression buy line, which is a hard buy, and then it jumps up. Okay, and then it's just kind of slowly falling, and then there's some price volume divergence saying it's going to fall. It falls afterwards. And now it's at 13, 12, 13. So remember what I said. So I'm pretty sure, I haven't tested like the bottom bands too much, but the top bands, like I've been watching them like on many stocks. So I'm telling you, stocks fall around 16 to 20. This indicator is like pretty tight. Sometimes you can get like crazy, you know, up to like 65 hits, like, and this is for stocks that are reaching new highs. They'll reach like, I don't know, 300 new highs on it in one day, like it happens. So anyways, so I was trying to explain that stocks can, their behavior on the uptrend can be very similar on the downtrend. So in this case, like I said, rule of thumb, get in before 15 upper hits, and then also get in, like if you're gonna buy, get in after 15 upper hits, that's not upper hits, lower band hits. So or maybe it's, I don't know. Anyways, so we're watching, and like, here's the deal. So let me just remove this for 1 second. Actually, no, I want to keep it. I want to keep it. Okay, so I don't want to take the buy seriously yet because linear regression is really low, okay? Second thing is price is falling towards lower bands, sticking to lower bands, going to the middle and falling towards lower bands again. But it sticks way more towards the lower bands here than it does over here. Like there's two really strong hits, maybe 3 or 4. This one has like literally all of them sticking. So like it's becoming more bullish over here than it is over here. Then it goes and hits up the middle band, okay? And you get a buy signal from RSI. You had one over here and here, but you had immediately after a sell signal. Okay, now we're gonna hit again. Now we're getting a buy signal. Why are we getting a buy signal? Well, it's risen so far above the middle band, and also we're talking about price behavior here. And then basically, uptrend is gonna have the price going above the middle band and to the top. So here, downtrend goes under the middle band and to the bottom. Hits the middle, goes down to the bottom, and then goes to the top, down to the bottom, and then goes to the top, and then it goes past. And this is kind of like, I don't know, unusual for a downtrend to go this far. If it goes even farther, let's look at the next bar. Okay, it's in an uptrend. So you may as well, I'm not going to say you may as well buy here, because it could go down. Like if it's just consolidating in this pattern, you may have not wanted to buy here, but I would say you're gonna have to take a risk And another thing is like it is squeezing here. You can see the like this is where there's an explosion. This is where it's tightening up, and then like let's say we don't take a risk, okay? Let's say we recognize the fact that it's in an uptrend. So now we're willing to buy on the middle line. Well, that was crazy. So anyway, so it went up, went down. It's kind of hanging out on the middle line. Linear regression is now pointing upwards, which is a really good sign. So we'll take all the buy signals seriously. So now it's falling, not good. Not good. There's no buy signals, so we couldn't take it seriously anyways. Okay, nothing. Okay, so now there's a buy signal, but linear regression is pointing downwards. That sucks. Price weighted volume is pointing towards a buy, and this has a strong buy signal, but okay, so here's what happened. So over here it went up to the upper bands, and then it fell down, and then it started moving up. Then went to the middle bands, went lower, when the upper bands hit the upper bands again, fell down, hit the middle band. We're still technically an uptrend right now. And then it's moving up. So here's an interesting thing. Okay, depending on the price behavior, you're either gonna have price falling and sticking, or it will tap, or it will stick and it will tap the middle and then fall, as opposed to tapping the top and tapping the bottom. So in this case right now, it tapped the bottom, tapped the top, and then now we've reached 2 and 2. So if this rises anymore, we'd want to get into it. So I mean, you'll want to be a part of uptrending stocks. So you could get into it right now. This could be a safe point to get in. And another thing is like the slope. The slope is much higher. So it's like 13.5 versus like -3. So the increase was a lot better than this one. Well, I wonder what's the slope on the previous one? 6.5. So we're really winning in terms of the hit count and the slope. So you may have wanted to get in here or on the next half bounce. And what is the answer though? Which one would we like to get in? Okay, the answer so far is half bounce. I would have wanted to get in like right here at 2.11. Damn, that was a good time to get in. And it actually ends out to be a really good trade. A really, really, really nice trade. Goes up, and then you have a sell signal here. I would have sold there. So yeah, that's the way I would have traded this stock. There are more trades for sure. They're also less profitable because they're later on.